Hello students. Uh, Earlier we have read the first phase of the 5-year plannings, that are 7 5-year plannings from 1951 to 1990. Now in these 7 5-year plannings we will further discuss the different fields of economy, different part of economy under agriculture, industry, foreign trade, and etc. And we will try to evaluate the different sectors, their original status, their achievement, and their failure if it is. First, we take the agriculture. We will discuss the features, problems, and policies of agriculture during this span of 7 5-year plannings, that is first phase of 5-year plannings 1950 to 1990. Before independence, we have read that Indian agriculture was a subject of exploitation only. But after independence, the India has its own policies for agriculture, and the Indian agriculture was very much important for the Indian economy. The reasons are following. The agriculture contributes in the GDP to the maximum, and in the 1951 its contribution was more than 50 and 51%, and by the 1990s it decreases by 14%, means the other sectors increases, service sector and manufacturing sectors contribution increases, but here we are talking about the importance of Indian agriculture. So from 1950 to 1990s, though agriculture remains major sector of contribution in the economic, but its contribution decreases subsequently. It was maximum in the 1950s, and with the 1980s and 90s it decreases by 17% to 18% from 50 and more. The second important feature of the Indian agriculture is that it supplies the wage goods or the necessity goods, cereals. The agriculture still in this 40 years was the backbone of Indian consumption. The wage goods like wheat, rice, pulses, maize, bajra, oil seeds, etc. was the prime production of the agriculture. And this India provides a food for 121 crores people, and fodder for near about 31 crores of animals. The fodder and cereals was supplied to the animals and human both by the agriculture only. The third is employment. Agriculture was the main sector where the employment was created to the many farmers and in the rural areas. Near about half of the population was engaged in the agriculture in the mid 60s and 70s, and gradually the dependency of employment in the agriculture decreases by 1990s, and that was due to the modernization of the agriculture. The next important feature was agriculture remains a supplier of industrial goods like jute, cotton, sugarcane, coffee, tea, and rubber, etc. was the important agriculture product for some basic industries and even for the small scale industries or for rural industries. The industrial development of many industries was dependent directly on the agriculture product. Agriculture was another important features with the contribution with the international trade. India from the ancient time was famous for its spices, and India was the exporter of many spices like jute, caswent, tobacco, coffee, rubber, lac, and so on. So India agriculture was again have a contribution in the international trade. In the domestic trade also, agriculture plays a vital role. Is a huge expenditure in India is occurred on the purchase of the farm foods, and more than billions in India are purchasing the Indian agricultural product in the domestic market. For the transport industry also, Indian agriculture play a vital role, both for the railways and roadways. The transportation of Indian agriculture was majorly dependent on the road transportation. So the road transportation development and agricultural development was supplement to each other. We can say complement to each other, not supplement, it was complement to each other. And agriculture remains the wealth of nation because it was the prime product. The production lost in 1 year cannot be reproduced in the second year. So agricultural loss was the total loss of wealth, whereas the industrial loss was not a loss of wealth. If industry do not produce the goods in one accounting year, so with that raw material he can produce in the another year. But in the field of agriculture, in the sector of agriculture, reproduction cannot be done of previous year. So the current year loss was the total loss. So Indian agriculture was a wealth of nation. Now, seeing the importance of Indian agriculture, we are on the next topic. What are the features of Indian agriculture? The Indian feature agriculture was different. Indian agriculture has a low productivity. In India, if we talk about the rice, the productivity of rice in India was 3.2 tons per hectare, whereas China was entertaining 6.7 tons of rice per hectare, whereas in America was entertaining 7.3 tons of rice in 1 hectare of land. Or with the world average 4.3, India was under the below productivity in the rice. Same as with the wheat we can talk. The productivity of wheat on India was 2.8 tons per hectare, whereas the China, who became independence with the same with after India, in China became independence after in 1950, but the productivity in China was much higher than India. It was about 4.8 tons per hectare, whereas America has a 3.1 tons, and our world average was 2.9 tons per hectare, but India suffers less than world average in the field of wheat also. In the field of coarse grain, again, India has a very low productivity. It was 1.9 tons per hectare, whereas China was entertaining 9 tons per hectare, and USA too was entertaining 9 tons per hectare. But India suffers 1.5 only. So low productivity was there. Again, there was a hidden employment in the agriculture, Indian agriculture. Means the person engaged in the agriculture, Indian agriculture, was more than the required. ज़रूरत से ज़्यादा लोग कृषि कार्य में संलग्न थे, जबकि आवश्यकता कम लोगों की थी. Same agricultural or cultivation can be done by 4 persons, but the whole family of 10 and 15 or more than 20 family members were directly or indirectly engaged in the agriculture. The next important feature of Indian agriculture was that the Indian agriculture was totally on the destiny of monsoon or on the rainfall, on the weather. Indian agriculture was totally dependent on the agriculture, on the rain and the weather and monsoon. If there is some casualty with the monsoon, the Indian agriculture will suffer the loss. The next was Indian feature was subsistence farming. In India, the subsistence farming agriculture was originated. It means the primary objective of the farmer was to secure subsistence of his family, to survival of his family, rather than to earn the profit. It implicates that the farmers was not taking incentive to make his profit more and more or make the commercialization of agriculture. So the subsistence farming was one of the important feature of Indian agriculture. The next feature of Indian agriculture was traditional input or farming. With the bulls and with the old techniques, traditions, with the ox, somewhere the buffaloes were even used for plowing, rotation, crop rotation, and other methods were not used by the traditional farmers. So traditional agriculture was one of the feature of Indian agriculture in this time. Next important feature of Indian agriculture was small holding of farmings. This small holding of farming was again scattered in a different place. So the farmer could not take care of all his holding, which was located in a scattered form. Some land was in one corner of the village, another was in the another village, and some fields were in the another corner of the village. So all the holdings were not compact or united. That was one of the feature of Indian agriculture. The next feature was the conflict between tenant and landlords. Still, after the many reforms in the agriculture and land, the tiller user of agriculture or a cultivator and the landlord has a conflict with their motives, with their interest and with their pattern of agriculture. So this conflict was obviously seen for the many decades after independence. The backward technique of agriculture was another feature of Indian farming, like pesticides, insecticides, multi-crops. Other techniques were not frequently used in the agriculture. High yielding seeds was not affordable with the measure of the farmers. So these are the important features of Indian agriculture. Now our next topic is the problem of the Indian agriculture. During these 40 years of 5-year plannings, India suffers the lack of permanent means of irrigation. So the permanent facilities or availability of irrigation was absent in the Indian agriculture, either by the farmer or by the government. No incentive or opportunities has been taken, incentive has been not taken by the farmers, landlords or by the government to avail the irrigation facility for throughout year, and for the protecting the rainwater also, the rainwater harvesting and stop dams and different canals was not properly utilized. Even they were not developed, so that wastage of water was one of the main demerit of Indian agriculture. The second was deficiency of finance. During these 40 years of planning, the finance system for the farmer was very inadequate. Nobody wants to finance the farmers or with their need. No financial institute was standing with the farmers, neither with the government also. This scarcity with the finance and the banking system in the rural area was the one of the lacking. Banks often establish their branches in the urban areas. The government outlook too was one demerit for the Indian agriculture. Government up to this 40 years was not deeply interested with the requirement of time in the agriculture or Indian agriculture. They do not make the commercialization of Indian agriculture behalf of the government. A typical Indian farming was reluctant to grow as an entrepreneur. Now we have another scenario after the 1920s, 1990s and 1900. In the 2000, in the 21st century, we have a separate agriculture scenario, but before 1990s, the scenario was different. This another small and scattered holdings of the farm was the demerit of Indian agriculture. The market available for the agriculture, Indian agriculture for the farmers was again one of the bone problem of Indian agriculture. The farmers have no adequate market available in their local areas to sell their excessive products. The surplus of the grain or the product was not easily sold to the government. Government was not purchasing that in proper way. Maximum retail price or the MRP, maximum support price for the food or the grains or the agricultural product was not high. That was one demerit with the Indian agriculture. Now, our next topic is what are the reforms made in the reformation of Indian agriculture. So, we will study these reforms in the Indian agriculture in 3 headings. First, technical reforms. The government and the farmer, the agriculturist, has used the high yielding seeds in the agriculture to increase the total production and productivity of the crops. The next is use of the chemical fertilizer. Scientific fertilizers was also used in the agriculture to increase the production and productivity of agriculture. The next technical method was using of insecticides and pesticides for the crop production, because in this year the pesticides, the pests and insects makes too much harm to the agriculture or crops, and government makes a effort from his behalf to protect the crops by spraying the insecticides and pesticides. The next was scientific forms of management in the agriculture was introduced by the appointing the agriculture officers at block and village level. The government make the message to the farmers to adopt scientific methods of farming and management. This up to the little bit helps the farmers to make the reforms in the agriculture. The next method in the technical reform was mechanize or machineize the means of cultivation. So lot of machines and mechanical tools were introduced in the agriculture for the increase of production and productivity and for a smooth cultivation. Tractor, trolley, cultivators, seal deal and other equipment was facilitated to the farmers to increase the production. The next reform was institutional reform. Under the institutional reform, the government abolished the intermediaries like Jamindari Pratha. Abolition of the Jamindari Pratha was a milestone change. The excess land of the Jamindar was snatched and given to the cultivators, farmer or a tiller user of the land. The next was regulation of the land rent. Revenues of the land was decided by the state government and central government, and it was decreased according to areas. With the irrigated land was levied high tax, and unirrigated land was levied with the less tax, and a proportionate taxation policy was adopted in the agriculture, and the agricultural income was given rebate from income tax. Again, there was one milestone reform, consolidation of the holding, especially in the UP, it was Chakbandi. The problem of small holding and scattered holdings in a village was solved by this consolidation. A farmer who has a different land holdings in scattered form was compact, and under the agreement with the farmers and with the arbitration in the village level, the holdings of the farmer was brought together. So the farmer's holding can be easily located in nearby areas so that he can take care of that holdings properly. So जिनकी जिनकी ज़मीन बहुत दूर दूर बिखरी हुई थी, छोटी छोटी लैंड्स थी, उनको चकबंदी के द्वारा सरकार ने कहा कि विद द कॉम्प्रोमाइज यू अल्टर और इंटरचेंज योर होल्डिंग विथ each other, and for that transfer no duties will be levied on. जनरली ज़मीन को बेच करके या उसकी स्टाम्प ड्यूटी दे करके हम एक्सचेंज करते थे, पर गवर्नमेंट ने ये ड्यूटीज़ को रिलैक्स कर दिया. विद द arbitration and compromise level, you can interchange your lands at village level. Next change was sealing. Sealing was means deciding the maximum land of holding to the kings, nawabs, and jamidars, and the surplus land was given to the landless farmers or the tillers who became the real owner of the land. The next institutional change was cooperative farming. Here, Amul, like example, the government emphasizes on a cooperative farming where the many people of a village combine and makes a combined effort to make cultivation of either of the land or for the animal products or agricultural products. This cooperative farming was a milestone change in this decades of 7 5-year plannings. Again, other than these reforms, there are general reforms which are following. First was expansion of the irrigation facility. Government established many multi-purpose projects, dams, made the stop dams, and collected the rainwater and extended that water in the form of irrigation to the farmers. Even in the Rajasthan, Ganganagar was a dry area, but with that Ganganagar Nehar from the Satluj Dam, Bhagra Nangal Dam, the water was supplied to the Rajasthan, and the Rajasthan's belt was irrigated now. So the expansion of the irrigation increased the production and productivity both. The next important reform in the agriculture was providing credit to the farmers. The government gives credit and loans at the easier level to the farmers so that they can use this credit for their agricultural incentive development, like Kisan credit card and different on fertilizers on the credits, equipments on the credit, tools on the credit. This credit formation of the farmers make a leap step advantage in the agriculture. Next was price support policy. Now, with the pass of the time in the 70s and 80s, 90s, government started increasing the support price for the agriculture product. By this, the agricultural loss suffered to the farmers can be minimized by the natural calamities. So the farmer was able to sell his surplus product in the market at a higher price in comparative to the local market or with the money holders or the sahukars. So, or the middlemans. In the village, previous to this, middleman was taking the surplus of the farmer at low price, and they sell this surplus in the big market with a high price. So the commission earned by this middleman was much more than the profit earned by the farmers. So the government finished this middleman, and the government makes the direct touch of farmer with the market with this minimum support price. Next was we conclude by this in the agriculture field, but one question left, कि whether this green revolution, after the green revolution in the 80s, does India need another green revolution in 1990s and afterwards, or in 2020, does India need a new green revolution to develop or reform the agriculture? And this is a matter of discussion amongst the students.